In this 13th chapter we discuss county charter officers and the needs for a register in a trustee, as a county may not exist without proper records, and what other record would all understand but economics in the trustee.
Lecture 13, Article 8. Commissioned officers. So, how was the new charter enforced, if not through county charter officers who ensure the smoothest and most comprehensive exchange of power? Facilitating change is often a difficult reality for those unprepared to move forward with the times as if the will of the majority were somehow in their instance a constant. Well, it is not and never has been. As a matter of fact, in every session of the Board of County Commissioners they address the fluid movement of the will of residents in the county with ordinances and resolutions that should better residents' lives. In theory the new charter is an improvement to the last, or surely it would have never been passed, but only time will tell the duration our latest charter lasts. Implementing the new charter, we must look to the chief law enforcement officer in the county, as we can write laws forever for nothing with no one to enforce them. So, the first county charter officer would have to be the sheriff for tactical purposes, as he must foremost respect the rule of democracy and the adoption of the latest home rule charter. His position ensures political parties remain organizations and not gangs hellbent on sabotaging opposing parties' platforms, violating and trespassing for fun or money. His force ensures that civilians remain civil and accept the will of the majority, as he already has had. The second county charter officer after physical order is established among those with opposing views is the trustee, to which the economic fortitude of the county is measured. Thirdly, a register as a county charter officer to keep an accurate account of documents that affect real and personal property is necessary. Some may put registers before trustees after chief officers, as records are more important than money, but not Shelby. As the chief law enforcement officer in the county, the sheriff physically separates those who belong in society from those who don't. Those who don't belong are who are not civil and is determined by the judicial system. Sure, we all think we should advance as much as we can, but the sheriff is there to ensure we only advance as much as we may. With the TN Constitution, the general laws of the state and the county charter to guide his actions, he is to maintain the jail system, including courthouse and courtroom security, while in society patrolling and distributing warrants to residents under county jurisdiction. The sheriff under the new charter will have all the power assigned to the sheriff by state law and of the former constitutional office of pre-home rule Shelby County. Unless excluded specifically by the new home rule charter, the county charter office of sheriff is to carry out all duties and responsibilities of the former constitutional sheriff of the pre-home rule era. So, with the same power, duties, and responsibilities of the previous sheriff, the office of the sheriff under the home rule charter must only accept the adoption of the new charter where legislation of the county need not pass in the state capital to become law. Accepting the innate sovereignty in residents of Shelby County in that a man's home is his castle, the benefit of liberty is the autonomy and self-control, and the sheriff divides those without it from those with more. The second county charter officer is under this charter that of the trustee, and whereas the sheriff controls physical power of the county, the trustee collects, measures and distributes its taxes, controlling the economic power of the county. In every civilization since the beginning of time, taxes have been collected, because being civilized means planning for a better tomorrow where one may plan but can't execute with only one person. As we advance in science, technology, and engineering, the emphasis on mathematics soon comes into play. With time, innovation, and experimentation, the standard of living is increased, and taking more than one person to design, produce, and deliver a customer a vehicle, mathematics makes us account for every screw and the taxes on each. With all the same powers, duties, and responsibilities as the former trustee, unless contrary to the most current charter, this position collects property taxes, manages the county cash flow, and is responsible for the investment of idle funds. Though perhaps this position should have been second after the chief law enforcement officer, the third county charter officer is the register. As economics are the measure for some, they are not an end to the means as are real and personal property. We are only mildly concerned with the monies in our wallets when lost, but the documentation and information in them makes us sick thinking of what was lost and that which cannot be replaced. The documentation that we hold as personal identification may distinguish one Henry Harrison from another as individual citizens, proving that Harrison the farmer was valuable to the state through the county where he lived his last days. He had 2 hunting dogs who grew old watching him try to convince himself that he was going to get out of the farming business to focus on hunting full-time for wild game, while he still had the energy. Needless to say, he preceded his well-past aged hound dogs to glory, and the only way we know he lived in the county is the record of his having had been paid taxes long ago, his signature on a petition for some type of agreement, and an account of him having had tangled with a water moccasin fishing in the river, living to eat it for dinner. The dogs' names were Michigan Storm and Walker Texas Ranger, and Sure, we can continue, but one farmer's life lived long ago is worth more than anything economic. In sequential order, the first 3 county charter officers are the sheriff, a trustee, and register. Many would place the register before the trustee after the chief law enforcement officer, as records are more important than money, but not in Shelby County. In order to enforce the home rule charter, perhaps physical and economic control took precedence over that of real and personal property, though their magnitude is greater. Although on the other hand perhaps the necessity of fund distribution as a duty of the trustee was needed for a more comfortable movement of the body. These are but the first 3 of 5, the last 2 of which we will discuss in the next and final lecture on #How to Run for County, where we hope you've enjoyed.